is an important project, and it really stands up there with other projects that the partnership has invested in.
The West End Opportunity Partnership has been putting millions of dollars into projects that want to benefit West Louisville families in particular. Tonight, we're sharing what we've learned about a new neighborhood laundromat in a part of town where many families say they do not have these appliances in their homes. Wave News reporter Julia Richardson finds the neighbors think cleaner clothes won't be the only benefit.
Yeah, Jose, the West End Opportunity Partnership is loaning more than $500,000 to a company called TGOE Holdings. The president of that company says he decided to open a laundromat in the Algonquin neighborhood because he wanted to invest in the community for years to come. You may recognize this building at the corner of Dixie Highway and Vorster Avenue. It used to be 40 acres and a mule restaurant, but soon it will look completely different.
We wanted to provide an essential service, right? Something that's going to be needed all the time.
That essential service? Laundry. TGOE Holdings bought the building and plans to turn it into a laundromat called Load and Fold with the help of West End Opportunity Partnership, an organization that pushes for economic development in West Louisville.
The project that they're asking us to invest in has to have a community benefit. What will the community gain if the partnership invests in the project?
Donald Taylor, president of TGOE Holdings, says right now the closest laundromat is almost 3 miles away, and the neighborhood has plenty of rentals without in-unit laundry. Taylor also says once the laundromat is up and running, there will be part-time job opportunities along with it.
We're looking to source those openings with people from the community.
As for the West End Opportunity Partnership, in the 4 years they've been an organization, they've provided $12 million to projects in West Louisville. They hope the laundromat is just one of many more projects. And Taylor says his company is just getting started too.
So it's going to be a safe space for everyone in the community to come to if needed, not only for laundry service, but if they're needing a safe space. And this is for the community. And when we move into other communities and see needs, it may be laundry, it may be something else. But when we move into other communities and see needs, then we're going to try to fulfill those as well.
Taylor tells me his company hopes to break ground on the facility towards the end of May. Julia Richardson, Wave News.